Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Today, I'm talking about one of my favorite pages in the book, Anden Caelren's inauguration. If you've seen earlier versions of this illustration, you might notice it's changed quite a bit. I actually went back and completely redesigned it because I wanted it to better match the style that I've been using throughout the rest of the book. One thing you'll notice throughout this project is that I love drawing people. My book isn't just about buildings or monuments, it's about the families, communities, and personalities that make each place unique. The original version focused mostly on the swearing in ceremony itself. While I still liked it, it felt a little empty compared to the rest of the book. So I decided to bring in the children of Martha and Anden, making this feel like a real family experiencing one of the biggest days of their lives together. Another important decision was making the president fictional. I intentionally chose not to use a real president because I didn't want readers to think that I was endorsing a political party or criticizing another. My goal wasn't to take sides. It was to celebrate the office of the presidency and the tradition of peaceful transfer of power. Creating Anden allowed me to tell that story while keeping the focus on leadership, family, and American history rather than modern politics. So let's start with Anden himself. Here we have Anden taking the presidential oath. This is the moment where he officially becomes Mr. President. I wanted him to look confident, respectful, and fully aware of the responsibility he's accepting. His right hand is raised while his left hand rests on the Bible. One thing I tried to avoid was making him look overly dramatic. He's not celebrating, he's not throwing his hands in the air. He's making a promise. The oath is one of the most important moments in an inauguration, and I wanted that seriousness to come across. Anden isn't based on any real president, even though his hair might resemble Franklin Pierce. He's entirely my own fictional character, which gave me the freedom to write the kind of leader I wanted without inviting comparisons to real political figures. One story that I think really captures who Anden is takes place much later in his presidency, during a state visit to France. The purpose of the trip wasn't simply diplomacy. He, he traveled there to meet with the French president, tour hospitals, and speak with physicians and healthcare experts. He wanted to learn what France was doing well and see if any ideas could realistically improve healthcare back home in the United States. During the state dinner, though, something unexpected happened. A server accidentally tripped while carrying wine to Anden and Martha. Red wine spilled all over Anden's suit. A crystal goblet shattered on the floor, and the server was absolutely terrified. She kept apologizing because she thought she ruined one of the most important dinners of her career. Instead of getting angry or demanding someone clean up this mess, Anden immediately knelt down to help her pick up the broken glass. When the server apologized again, he simply smiled and said, "It's just wine and glass." He wanted to make sure nobody had been hurt. That mattered more to him than a stained suit. Around the world, that became one of the defining images of the trip. People talked less about the accident itself and more how he treated someone who had made an honest mistake. For me, that says more about Anden's character than any speech ever could. He's the kind of leader who believes people are way more important than looking good. Standing beside Anden is Martha. She's holding the Bible while Anden takes the oath of office, making her an important part of one of the most defining moments of his life. One of my favorite details on this page was actually her outfit. Martha is wearing a white suit embroidered with goldenrod, which is the state flower of Nebraska, where she's from. I wanted her clothing to quietly honor her home state, even though she's now becoming First Lady of the United States. Nebraska will always be part of who she is. The, the goldenrod embroidery is my way of showing that she hasn't forgotten where she came from. The white suit also felt appropriate for the occasion. It gives her an elegant, dignified appearance without overpowering the rest of the scene. Since Anden is the one taking the oath, I wanted Martha to compliment the moment rather than compete with it. She's not standing there just simply because tradition says the First Lady should be president. She's there because she walked this campaign trail with him. Campaigns, public service, and leadership affect the entire family, and this inauguration is a milestone they reach together. Her expression is calm and proud. I imagine she's thinking less about the cameras and more about the years that led to this day. It's a quiet moment of support between husband and wife, and I wanted that feeling to come through in the illustration. Next is Aurora. Aurora is the oldest of the three children, and she's 12 years old. Even though she's still very young, she's remarkably mature for her age. I wanted that to come across in the way she's standing. She isn't fidgeting or looking distracted. She's paying close attention because she understands that this is a historic day for her dad. Aurora is thoughtful, observant, and has a way of expressing herself that people naturally pay attention to. One of the things I imagine about her is that when she speaks, people stop and listen. She chooses her words carefully instead of speaking just to fill the silence. And because of that, what she says often carries weight. That doesn't mean everyone agrees with her, of course, but she has a calm confidence that makes people want to hear what she has to say. For someone who's only 12 years old, that's an unusual quality. Her light blue dress reflects the calm and composed personality I want her to have. She isn't trying to be the center of the attention. This is her dad's day, but she's quietly present, taking in the significance of the moment. I imagine Aurora growing up into someone who values history, service, and thoughtful leadership. This inauguration is one of those memories she'll carry with her for the rest of her life, and I wanted her expression to capture both the pride she feels for her father and the understanding that she's witnessing an important chapter in her family's story. Over here is Anden Jr. He's standing proudly beside his family, dressed for one of the biggest days of his father's life. One thing about Anden Jr. is that he's very athletic. Sports are a big part of who he is, and his favorite is track and field. He's the kind of kid who enjoys pushing himself to run faster, improve his times, and see how much he can accomplish through hard work and practice. Even though this ceremony is very formal, I like thinking that if you asked him if what he'd rather be doing that afternoon, he'd probably say heading out to track for a workout. I wanted him to look respectful and well behaved during the inauguration, but he's still a kid. He's proud of his dad, and he's doing his best to take in everything that's happening around him. Imagine growing up and watching your father become the President of the United States. That's something very few children will ever experience. It's exciting, a little overwhelming, and probably something he'll remember for the rest of his life. I think his athletic side reflects another part of his personality. Track teaches discipline, perseverance, and the importance of steady improvement, qualities that I imagine Anden Jr. Carrying, carries into other parts of his life as well. Even though this page captures him standing still at a solemn ceremony, I picture him as someone who's usually in motion, whether he's training, competing, or challenging himself to shave another second off his personal best. And finally, we have Felicity. Felicity is the youngest member of the Caelren family, and she's only 4 years old. She's bright, playful, and curious, and probably one of the most unpredictable persons in the White House. One of my favorite details about her is that she doesn't like wearing shoes. Unless someone reminds her, she's perfectly happy running around barefoot. I think that's such a normal 4-year-old thing, and it gives her a little bit of personality before she even says a word. On this page, she's hugging Martha's leg while her dad is taking the oath of office. She doesn't really understand the significance of an inauguration yet. What she does understand is that there are lots of people around, and mom is where she feels safe. I also gave her a funny little running joke. One of the Secret Service agents assigned to the family is named Aaron, but Felicity can never quite pronounce his name correctly. She'll call him things like Erwin, Aaron, or something completely different. Everyone knows who she's talking about, including Aaron himself, and he just smiles because that's part of being around a 4-year-old. Because she's the youngest member of the first family, she's also incredibly popular with the public. The White House has a policy of carefully reviewing gifts sent to the first family, and while everyone receives thoughtful presents from time to time, Felicity usually ends up receiving the most. People often send her handmade stuffed animals, teddy bears, dolls, or little dresses. She's absolutely delighted every time another package arrives. I imagine her excitement as she opens each gift, wanting to hug every stuffed animal immediately, or asking if she can wear her new dress right away. One of my favorite stories involving Felicity happens during the family's state visit to France. At the state dinner, she's never had sparkling water before. She took one sip, looked up at Martha with complete confusion, and said, "Mama, this water's spicy." Martha smiled, explained that the bubbles made it feel that way, and had regular water brought out for her instead. Moments like that remind us that despite all the ceremony and traditions surrounding the presidency, there is still a family with young children. Felicity brings a sense of innocence and joy to the White House, and I think every family has someone who keeps life a little lighter. For the Caelrens, that's definitely Felicity. One detail I kept from the original page is George Washington's official portrait at the bottom. I really like the idea of pairing a fictional president with America's first real president. Washington established many of the traditions that presidents still follow today, so it felt appropriate to include him here. I also wanted readers to learn something while enjoying the artwork. The Capitol entrance, the American flags, and the oath all work together to create a scene that's instantly recognizable as an inauguration. Even though the family is fictional, the ceremony itself is based on very real American traditions. That's the balance I wanted throughout this page. So that's my redesigned inauguration page. Looking back, I'm really happy I revisited it. Adding the kids, Aurora, Anden Jr., and Felicity made the illustration feel much more like the rest of the book, where people and families are just as important as the places themselves. Using a fictional president also let me celebrate the presidency without asking readers to view the page through the lens of modern politics. Instead, I hope people see it as a celebration of leadership, family, public service, and American history. I hope you enjoyed hearing about the thought process behind this illustration. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next
All the
artist.
fears will fade away if you get to hear me now.